Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about something I don't know why I was thinking about this today, but I was thinking about it in the sense of me just going for a walk and looking at my dogs and just got me thinking. I'm going to give a scenario in a human sense, and then I kind of want you to think about it in the dog sense, but in a human sense here to figure out which route do you want to go. The stove is hot. It's hot. Would you rather understand that it's hot through punishment in the way of touching the fire or touching the burner? I got fire for mine, but touching it and allowing it to burn you, to feel that burn. But that burn hurts. I don't know if y'all know, fire hurts. It hurts. It's a weird sensation. Would you rather punish yourself to figure out, I don't want to do that anymore? Would you rather somebody come to you and use more of a mind games, like some mental manipulation on some, I'm going to go extreme right now, on some, the concept of like, if you touch that, we're going to hurt one of your family members. We're going to take one of your family members off this planet. If you touch that fire. So you kind of like, I don't want to touch it because I care for my family and I don't want someone to do something savage to them. So I'm not going to touch it. Or would you rather not touch it because you had a parent or someone else say to you, just don't do it because it's going to hurt you. Just trust me. I've done it before. I know what's going to happen. And just trust me. You don't need to experience that. And I will be able to get you to move somewhere in a better place. Which route would you rather go? Because in reality, when I was thinking about that, I don't know why I was thinking about some simple dog training today. That dog training goes towards the first two methods. You're either going to punish it or you're going to do some psychological mind games to it to try to convince it not to do something. As opposed to just my concept of what I really would like people to really start to learn more about is using the concept of trust. The trust is able to allow just so much to just magically happen on this planet without having to go through pain, suffering, agony, too much excitement, too much joy even. Too much excitement, it really isn't a good thing. But we like to think about that today as being like, that's the way to go. So it's like, there is a way to not have to punish. There is a way to not have to reward. There is a way to not have to manipulate. There is a way to not have to get into any of that. And that's the concept of trust. In reality, for me, that's a simple understanding for me because of, I'm a Bible believing type guy. So, Oreo, we good. Hold on. Yeah, Oreo, we good. Go home. You go home. You can actually come here if you want. I don't care. Come here. Sorry. He been doing them. I don't know what he's barking at 100% right now, so I got to figure that out. Usually he only barks when there's stuff coming up, but he'll come over here in a jiffy in a little bit. But I realize that the trust part of it is easier for me to be able to really recognize that. I never really understood why I didn't even think about that with my dogs in a way. We're good. You're gonna knock my stuff over. In the way of being able to just trust knowing that someone else or something else has already said, let's just not do that because it's not going to be good. It's going to lead you down a negative route. Because this is the thing that I guess, someone could say I punished the dog because it's doing something, but there's something that kind of always happens in dog training. And this is the part of me that I in reality start to feel very uncomfortable. So I can somewhat say if I see the dog is like clearly running into something, I can pull that leash and say, hey, no, buddy, you're about to get hit by a car. And that could seem to be punishment to the dog, I guess I could say, but in the end, I'm saving the dog's life, I guess I could potentially say. That's the easiest case to be able to understand this. But the part that I didn't quite start to feel comfortable with is when you have to go down the route of setting it up. Set up the scenario so that you can be able to correct or punish the dog to get it so it doesn't do it again. Such as you don't want the dog to eat the food off the floor, you purposely throw the food on the floor, wait for the dog to go and get it, and then you just yank that collar. You purposely are setting up the scenarios to make sure that the dog does not do it. So that's the concept of you're purposely putting the fire on the oven and you're telling the kid, touch it. Go ahead, touch it. And then the kid touches, oh, that's hot. Did you figure it out yet? Okay, now we're good. As opposed to just allowing it to just naturally happen one day. Because for me, I know I didn't touch the stove because I trusted my parents. They don't touch it. I messed up making some pancakes when I was little. I was maybe like 8, 10 years old, making some pancakes, and I touched my thumb on the pan on the spot that it got hot. That thing was, and I was trying to soak it under water for minutes and minutes, and that thing hurt. So I figured it out in a way of just experiencing it. Not someone coming in and setting up the scenario so that I would fail, so that I would stumble. That's where I believe that things are really complicated. Really complicated. And that's the part of me of just really, I hope to be able to say something to get people to just really like, I know there's so much information out here that says to not trust one another. And I can somewhat pretty much agree with that. But there's one thing that I can say that you can trust that is going to be able to look out for the best of you. And that's the God, that's the Jesus, that's the Christ inside of you. That it's going to be able to allow you to be able to know what you should do and shouldn't do. And you don't need to experience it to figure out what you shouldn't do. And you don't need to even experience it to figure out what you should do. You should just live knowing that if some bad stuff it doesn't want you to get into, trust the main thing is, the words that I could use even if you don't want to believe in a Jesus or a Christ inside of you is the concept of your intuition. Trust that your intuition it's looking out for the best of you. And you're running into that scenario that you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure. You're not sure. Like, don't just keep going further into it. Because that's the concept of, in reality, when we're sitting there touching the oven. You're looking at it, it's like, it feels kind of hot when you put your hand over it, and you're like, I'm not sure, you're not sure, let's not do that. So that you don't hurt yourself, so you don't get yourself into a sticky situation. So you don't have to end up, worst case scenario, I don't know what worst case scenario touching the oven is, but you slipped and fell, and now you're all on top of it. And then now you thought you just hurt your finger, now you got your whole face. You got I know they got those electric ovens, most people got nowadays. Now you got a whole electric oven on your face because you slipped, you hit it, you froze. Bad things can happen because you didn't just listen to your intuition that just said, hey, let's just stay away from that. Let's stay away from that. And you do not need to punish yourself to realize, let me not do that again. You do not need to go through some psychological mind games to not do that, but just trust. Trust what's inside of you of knowing where you should and where you shouldn't go. That's something that it's weird that we almost like try to run away from that today. Let me take that back. It's weird that I like to run away from that nowadays. That I know something, I get this like, I don't know, I'm unsure, and then I still just do it. But there's sometimes that I do that in a way of really realizing, is that just me? Because I'm nervous of where I should go, or is that something of a greater sense that's saying that this is no good? So that's where I would say is use discretion, clearly. If something in your gut is telling you not to touch the fire, don't touch the fire. But if something in you is trying to, this is the thing where I can say the difference of the mind is saying something or the body is saying something. There's like two completely different things going on here. So if your mind is saying, don't go for that job, don't do that, I would say maybe you should go further into that because your body is going to more than likely want to go into that. But your mind is trying to trick you away from not wanting to do such a thing. Because that's the concept of where, unfortunately, all of us are just growing up with this whole positive reward thing. And that's what we're moving off of, not going into the concept of what I would say is the outside of that is like the trust and the understanding part of it. Oreo, we're going into, hold on, stay over here, or you got to go home. You got two options: you stay here or go home. Just come here. Get down. I'll make your life easy right now. Get down. I give you too many options sometimes. No, get down. Too many options. make us. Okay, go home. You got to do it then now. When I sit here and say go home, then he's like, oh, I'll lay here then now. Some of these dogs are really smart. They're really smart. They're that scenario that just happened right there just let me know how intelligent these dogs actually truly are. They're not that dumb. They're not that dumb. I give them options. I give them choices, and they know. Okay, well, this is better than that, so let me just do this instead. It's just fast. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But the main thing is we're already stuck in this concept of this punishment and this reward stuff. So it's kind of hard to even branch out to even think about anything being in a different way, because you're constantly always just in this sense of looking around as if like you need to get some sort of like praise for what it is that you do, or you need to get someone to tell you like correct you, say, hey, no, that's not what you're doing, as opposed to the other side of it of just realizing, why are we so focused and worried about what everyone else in reality is trying to tell us and get us to be able to do? That's the thing that just kind of confuses me and makes things complicated. But something that I've just realized is being able to go into the side of trusting instead of just forcing your way into trying to understand what this world even is. Because a lot of times, I don't know what it is. A lot of times, I just see things get so complicated with folks in a way that you need someone to tell you what to do. You need someone to show you the way. You need someone to tell you what's right and what's wrong. You need someone to constantly keep on doing that for you. And when you're doing that, that's where things get complicated. Where we think that the reward, this is the part where my opinion based on all these books that I keep on reading, that the concept of the reward is not a reward. It's not a good thing. It's a completely extremely negative thing, almost in a sense of a little worse than what just straight up punishment is. Because if you just touch the stove and you get burned get punished yourself that way, as opposed to someone else coming in and punishing you based on saying, well, we're going to do this to you if you don't this. We're going to remove you, because that's the kind of the main thing that we use in dog training. We're going to remove the dog from the scenario. We're going to remove the treat from the scenario. We're going to remove something, and that is so mentally toxic to be able to do to something, to try to get it to say don't do something, as opposed to just saying just trust me. That's the thing that, like, most people today, we're just looking for someone to say. And that's the part where, especially if you're looking for a reward from somebody to keep on doing what it is that you're doing. Because now you're really in a sticky situation of being under an extreme amount of control. Because that's just all that happens when you're relying on someone to tell you what to do. Now you're doing what they want you to do, how they want you to do it, and who they want you to be, and not you just being who you are. That's where things start to get extremely complicated. And I don't think most people really pay any attention to that. You think you need that praise. You think you need someone to say good job. You think you need someone to give you even a promotion. A promotion can destroy some people. I've seen that so much, unfortunately, just the stuff that I was real close to in seeing guys in the military. Getting that next rank, sometimes it wasn't what they needed. What they needed was to just stay where they were. If anything, they already got too much rank, and they need to kind of go back a little bit, because going to the next one actually messes a whole lot of people up. Because it puts you in a sense that, for one, you're not ready yet, and two, you're needing more guidance. And when you go further and further up, you actually are getting less guidance. Now you need to figure out how to do it more on your own, and it could put you in a free-for-all that could just absolutely just destroy you, because you're needing that, like, step-by-step how to do things. And when they take it away and say, now you're the one that needs to give the new people the step-by-step, you're really going to be struggling really a lot. So the reward in reality really isn't helping most people. It's forcing you smaller and smaller into a box to be what they want you to be. As opposed to just me, I could say to the dog, just trust me. I know it's going to be best here. Just trust me. It's going to be fine. Just trust me. You don't need to bark at that dog. Just trust me. Just stop doing what you're doing. Trust me. Stay over here. What I'm telling to this boy here. Stay over here. There's no reason to go over there, because he's trying to go over there to go get into some stuff that I just don't want him to get into right now. And I just want you to stay over here. Mainly, I don't want him over there because I got these rat traps, so snap traps now. They work. The cheapest ones, man, I don't know what it is. The cheapest, simplest stuff works. It just works. The simple stuff works. And they're so big, but they're so big that I don't want them to get their paw stuck in them. I got them spread out a little bit. And I don't want to get his paw stuck in it, because that could break a foot. That'll mess him up. And I just got to I don't want you to experience that. Could I just say, you'll figure it out, and then he hits it for the first time and he'll never hit it again in his life? No, I want him to just trust me. Dude, I got this. Just pay attention to me. I got this. And I don't need to do anything crazy. Like, I don't really want to have to say, you stay at the house. I would want him to be out here to explore. But if he just was able to just trust me, he would realize, like, life is going to be much, much, much simpler, much, much easier. Oreo. Much, much easier. And I don't want him to have to go through the said pain. I don't want to have to go through the psychological mind games. I don't want to have to go through any of that mess. I want him to just listen to what I'm saying and be able to move forward. That's a part of me where that's how I learned to just live my life in reality, is I listen to the I don't know why I thought of saying it like that, but I'm not going to say it like that. Listen to the Christ, listen to the Jesus, listen to the God that's within us, that's around us, that's here, for me to be able to learn how to navigate this world. I don't need to, like, go and steal something to realize that stealing is bad. I should just be able to listen and read and say, hey, that's not right. Because every time that I would get the feeling of, like, I kind of want to do that, I know it's wrong. Something to me is just like, no, that's not right. It's not, because would you want someone to do that to you? Would I want someone right now to just come up and just take my phone right now, take my camera, and just run off? No, I'd be a little irritated as all could be. So why would I go do that to somebody else? I should just already know by listening, by trusting, of knowing that's not the way to go, and then just not do it. As opposed to doing it, realizing I was wrong, and then someone just come back and, well, they call it that karma, that someone now does it to you, and now you're like, oh man, why did I do that? I don't need to go through that experience. I could just trust. That's the big thing that I realized that makes it really easy with working with a simple dog. I want them to be able to trust me. And the more that I set it up, that I'm forcing them in a situation that they are going to, say, punish themselves, and or I'm going to punish them by so-called rewards, they just want to keep on getting further and further away from me. Because in that sense, I'm controlling them to be more of what I want and who I am and what I want them to be. And you know, this is the thing that a lot of people, that's how you view your animals. You just want it to be, you want this little robot. You could just say, sit, shut up, sit down. And that's just what you're looking for. That's just not what I'm looking for or what I want in my life. Oreo. I'll get down. That's just not what I'm looking for in my life. I'm looking for something that is able to, like him in here. He give me pushback. I don't care. I'm not like, oh my goodness, I don't know what it is, but I like the freedom. I like them to be expressive. I like them to be just open. I like them to just be them. And it allows me to be able to just work with them very, very easily. I don't need to get like, I guess the word I like to use is hostile. I don't need to get strange about it. I could just speak and we're just like, okay, this is just what's going on right now. And I can give them lots of options, give them lots of choices. And I don't know what it is, but it just brings some sort of like peace that I don't have to be all on top of. When you're having to control every microsecond of every little thing, you're struggling. It's so hard to do that. It's so hard for me to even, 3 times now I'm telling them just stay back. I'm not even 100% sure that he's gonna walk all the way back over there, but he's just walking in that direction. So I'm just like being extra preventative. It's just stress. It's super stressful to me to sit here and have to do that. I just want to say what I have to say and just be done with it. But it's the main thing is the more, this is the most complicated thing. The more that you say to something, no, I don't want you to, the more they have this hard desire that they have to do it. They just like, I don't know what it is, but it's just like they have this like, I gotta do it. So the more that you say to the kid, don't touch the fire, the kid is kind of looking at it like, you sure? You sure? Is it really gonna be hot or is it just a little hot? I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. I don't know quite there yet. And that's the difference between, I can say, especially with that dog compared to all my other ones. That dog, I worked with him in a sense of reward and punishment his entire life. So this past year, I'm trying to like change that up. So it's a little complicated. It's going to be extra for me to figure out how to be able to get through this. But the others, when I say, hey, let's not do that. They're just like, oh, okay, cool. I don't want to do that. But him, he's got this like, you sure? You sure? You sure? You sure? You sure about that? Are you sure? Are you sure? And we're working past that. I mean, he's already, if you put it in a sense of like human type age type situation, he's already like my age. He's a 40-year-old man at this point. So it'd be like me, a parent, coming to your 40-year-old son and saying, hey, let's change this up. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna take a lot. But it's something that really does, at the end of the day, still make it much, much, much simpler, much easier when you just are able to get that to trust. You trust, they trust. And then you realize that you're going to be able to work back and forth with each other, as opposed to just saying, hey, let me set it up so that I can just make sure that you get hurt so that you can learn from it. That's a horrible way to go at some things. So let me go ahead and psychologically play games with you to make sure that you don't do something. That is just absolutely horrible situation to be in. And that's something that unfortunately, that's just the norm today with what it is that we do. Not only with the dog, but we do it with children, we do it with workplace, we do it with elderly care, we do it with everything. Everything is about just punishment and reward in a way that it's really not. It's punishment, double downing into punishment. Just walked the trail yesterday that was called Double Down. It's double downing into what you're already doing, trying to get what you want, which is more control. And the more control that you have, the more control that you continuously keep on needing, and you're never going to be able to let that control go. That's the thing that I'm really realizing with everything that I got out here. The more that I'm trying to force and dictate to them, the more that I got to keep amplifying on top of that every day, over and over and over. I just can't get out of it. It just keeps going. And that's like if you're cool with that, you're cool with that. I'm not cool with that. I like to live a life that things are just smooth, just real chill out, just comfortable and relaxed, that I don't have to like speak too much. I could say one thing once and then we're like, okay, this is good. This is just what we're going to do. Because even now, he walked back over there, but then he's walked right back over here again. He's like, there's something that he doesn't want me to do. Maybe I should just listen to him. So that's just what he does. This dog is just, you good, Oreo. His dog is it's just fascinating to be able to just see everything that in real time, what's going on. And in real time is what is this? In real time is what really just kind of really matters the most on this planet. Worrying about what could happen and worrying about what may happen, all of that is just absolutely meaningless. And that's the concept of something that I just have really realized is just chill out and just understand that we're only here right this second. I can't worry about what happened then and what's going to happen and any of that. It's right here. And the more that I'm starting to really just understand that, I'm starting to see the beauty and just getting Me, for one, trusting stuff around me. And for them to be able to trust me, to be able to realize that we're good. There's no reason that we have to like fight with each other. There's no reason that you have to like challenge what it is that I'm saying. It's just, let's just do this. Thank you. Come back here. There's something on you that I gotta check this out. You got a cut on you, buddy? Let me check you. It's a cut or it's a tick? I can feel it right there. Hold on. Better not have nothing on you. Sorry, I gotta check my dog out. Nope, that's a big cut. When the heck did you get cut like that, buddy? You good. Sorry. I have a bad habit, I guess I could say, of now every time I'm petting my dogs, I'm always like, I don't just pet them, but I'm like doing grooming checks, making sure there's what's on their body. You got any cuts? You got any scrapes? You got any scars? You got anything? I don't know how to just like simply just let me just pet you. I'm always like, what is that? What's going on here? I'm trying to get out of that, but it's my way of doing my health checks, I guess I can say, all the time during the day to make sure that everything is all right. Because I just really never have issues with my dogs. In reality, they're pretty healthy dogs, but I get on top of everything right away. If I see something weird going on, I just get right into it. But I guess that's part of them understanding that I care about them. And that's what makes them, I guess, at the end of the day, want to care about me. That I don't need to act away and be away with them. I could just be me. I don't need to portray something different. Because that's probably going to be the video I make tomorrow is the concept of wearing a mask. And your dog can see through that. And that's where I believe a lot of things are getting complicated today, because that's what dog training represents. Putting a mask on the dog. Not allowing the dog to be who it is, but putting something on it to make it look and to be a way. And it's not that way, but to make it be a way that you want it to be. But what happens when it decides to take that mask off and it wants to start to just become to be itself? It's going to give you a lot of pushback. And then you got to put the mask back on to try to force it. That's what obedience does. It forces the dog to be something that it isn't, as opposed to just allowing it to be what it is. Something real interesting about that I've been thinking about that a lot this past couple days. Listening to that Robert Green, him talk about him in interviews I've been listening to him about just everyone's wearing a mask. And I believe that that's where you can have superficial relationships with people, and you can also have a superficial relationship with your animals. But when you want to just be who you are, you're going to run into a sticky situation, because now you're going to need like a whole new set friends group. This is the complicated thing that I have, like especially with my Border Collie Oreo there. He's seen me with my mask on. That's all he knows. But now that I'm just like, whatever, I'm just me, he's weirded out about it. Where the other dogs, they're fine. Expect him, he's been mixed in it, but especially the Dalmatian, especially Kahi, they only see me as just me. I'm just me. So they treat me much differently. This boy here, he's always got a little bit in him that he's just like, what's up with you? Like, who are you? It's like I'm two different people, straight up, because I would act a way and then all of a sudden just be a different way. It's an interesting experience.